Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to this Watch Me Work live stream. I think it's number 8. Is it 8, Vinny?
I don't know.
I don't know. 8 or 9. You won't see this when I put the replay on YouTube anyways, because we'll just skip to this part. Today, the Me and Watch Me Work Wednesday live stream is Vinny Hebert again. And he's been sharing with us about this new site that he has, iloveoldtimeradio.com. And so today we're going to talk about that whole project from concept to completion and see just what he's done. Of course, he's built it in Joomla, so it'll be fun for us to hang out and learn, maybe pick up some tips. And so that's going to be good. Vinny's a friend of the channel and a friend of mine online. So, and Vinny, I have to say, I did listen to the first episode last night, which I really, really enjoyed. It brought back
good.
It brought back memories of. I used to listen to old time radio shows on tape cassettes, and I don't know if we had a membership to get them or I got them from the library. But, anyways, of course I was not around when old time radio was were appearing brand new, but
you and me both.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure, but I just want to be polite and not ask that anyways.
I'm younger than you are. We've already established that.
Anyways, yeah, so it was I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to listening to more. So
Well, the second episode dropped today, and it's different. So each day of the week, we'll be doing a different show that has a different genre type. So the first one is kind of like Mondays are kind of like action adventure. So right now we're starting with The Shadow, and each week we'll be playing in sequential order as much as we have, because unfortunately not everything is available.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's lost or destroyed or sometimes I'll find some episodes later, but for what we have right now, we will be playing it in sequential order.
Cool.
And so that will be Mondays. Tuesdays is a show called My Friend Irma. It's a comedy show. In fact, actually, it was 2 movies. It became 2 movies. And actually, it was the first movie to feature the duo of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Oh, cool.
So the movie My Friend Irma with Martin and Lewis originated from the show. And actually, if you watch the movie, you'll see some of the jokes that are even in the first episode. So that's today.
Excellent. Well, I've got it up on the screen here for people to see. It's iloveoldtimeradio.com. And do you want to, just for those that have maybe not met you before, those lucky people, just introduce yourself a little bit in your business and what you do, and then we'll jump right into the site.
Well, I'm Vinny. I'm from Vermont in the United States. It's a state for those of you who do not know, and I'm talking to the Americans who do not know that Vermont's still a state. Which is funny because, you know, you're Canadian, but you are aware that Vermont's a state. I have to tell people sometimes from the Midwest and the South that Vermont is a state and not a province of Canada. Yeah, just, you know, those one of the 13. You know, we're just after that.
Yes.
So
you're bordering right on the Yukon, right?
Yeah. No. Wrong side of the country. We're more near Montreal.
Okay.
So I own my own web development company called Web Help US. I also am a co-owner of a entertainment company called Big Guys Entertainment. So that's what takes up a lot of my time, those 2 things. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a really long time. And as Tim discovered last night, sometimes my opinions don't always mesh well with the standard being nice about everything and the I guess being on the not controversial.
He's referring to a non-stream conversation that we had on Zoom yesterday after the live stream.
So I decided that maybe my opinions might not best be served outside my own head. Um,
I actually, after some of the things you said, I contacted the FBI and said they should probably look into you, but they said they were so busy with the Kavanaugh thing they couldn't get around to it. So,
exactly. And they said, "You're Canadian. What do you know?"
yeah. Uh,
Um, so I wanted to do something that I enjoyed, um, and something that would bring other people joy rather than bringing so much controversy. Because I don't really need controversy in my life. I have enough of it as it is. So I want to do something that brought me joy and brought other people joy. And I've been listening to. Fortunately, we live in a time where podcasts are prevalent, and people do this kind of stuff on podcasts all the time. There are lots of shows, so if you don't like my show, you might find another show out there. I've been listening to a podcast for years, many years, called The Great Detectives of Old Time Radio with Adam Graham, and he does detective stuff, which is something I love anyway. And I was like, you know what, I can do this.
well, and that's
So
basically, so starting with the concept, um, it's interesting because you've listened to something and you know that there's others, but you started your own. So part of the concept was what thinking.
well, part of it is that I have a background in radio, so I could clean some of these files up that are so awful. Um, Other things I dislike about some podcasts out there is that there's no consistency in the volume. I listen to a lot of this in the car, and sometimes the narrator or the introduction would come in and would be very loud, so you turn it down, and then the show comes on, and it's very quiet, so you have to turn it back up, and then the guy comes back in, and it's very loud again, and I was like, that one little thing is like, I can be consistent. So I try to make sure the levels are very consistent straight through. Plus, I love doing. Uh, well, let me go back a little bit with when I was in radio. Um, we used to. The nice thing about radio is companies send you stuff because they want you to air it. So we would get these discs of what's called imagination theater, and there would be a number of these radio programs that were done more modernly by modern day actors, and I love that type of stuff. I love the sound effects, and I love listening to audiobooks where they have the dramatization of it, where they have the sound effects and different characters and different actors doing voices. I even enjoy if it's the same narrator, but he attempts to do different voices. So I love that kind of thing where you can just listen to it and you don't have to be watching something all the time and be distracted. I like listening to it when I'm working, because when you're watching something, you're constantly looking up at that and you're distracted by it.
Yeah.
So in radio, we got this, and then I also from a dollar store bought a disc of the Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. And if you've never heard that, it is an amazing piece of cinematic history, and to think that at the time people really thought it was real. And if you've never heard it, I'm gonna be airing it for Halloween this year.
Oh, cool. Because I have never heard it. I maybe have heard parts of it. But yeah, you just mentioned about and people actually believing that it was real. In the episode last night, they had a commercial at the end about blue coal and for modern home heating.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh man, that is. So I'm really glad that the commercials are still in there. But it was and it was really right at the end before they concluded things. Although the story was over, he said, "Well, now let's hear from our sponsor." And the guy came on and just started talking. It
Yep.
wasn't slick or anything, and you could tell that it was live. But he was talking about, I mean, just the same old thing, like how to get more heat out of your budget, and somebody who was going through a ton of coal a week or something like that, and they still
Well,
weren't
that was
getting
in
it.
1937. So you think in 1937 they worried about the same things we do.
Yeah. So it was,
Um,
but it would, but also you're just thinking about. I mean, I just think that it would be fun to take people from, get a time machine, grab some people, and take them to one of the. Here in Victoria, we've got a IMAX, largest screen in British Columbia, and it's got two 4K laser um, projectors in sync. I would just love to take those people and plop them down just for the countdown at the beginning of the movie and blow their minds. But that's yeah. So that yeah, that old stuff is it's got, it's not just nostalgia. It's just kind of puts perspective on just human people as well.
and some of the episodes or shows that I will be tackling in the future, they're at a time where we were at war during the world wars, and you can hear the. I mean, they use these shows as a form of propaganda. Get on the side of your troops and your fellow man, and support the war effort, and do your American duty. And I mean, these are mostly American stuff. So it's more of my history than people who would live in Canada or elsewhere in the world. But it definitely, I mean, if you are from a different part of the world, it's a nice way of looking back at the history books, in a different way from a history that's not your own.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I will say that from Canada, American history is sort of our own because we're so aware of it, and we're not isolated from it.
We don't let you forget it, do we?
No, but we're told it, um, and I mean, yeah, it's just part of our general understanding. I think there's more Canadians that can find the United States on the map than there are Americans that can find Canada on the map. But
Well, so Providence, we don't get.
and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that you've got under the hood as it being a Joomla site. But I think one of the interesting things is if people are wondering about what to do for a web project, or they'd like to do something, there's imitation and there's inspiration, and you can end up trying to do the same site from both perspectives. I think there's people that, like, you didn't look at all these sites and say, oh, I could do that, I guess I'll just do that and maybe it'll go somewhere. You're inspired because you like those things and thought that you could do something better. Whereas there are some people that are just looking for a project or looking for something to do, and they might look at a site and say, oh, well, I can do that, and they're going to run out of steam because it's so much work, they don't have passion for it. And so that's probably a cool part of the origin of this project, is the passion to see it through, because I'm sure there's lots of fiddly things in building it that were not fun.
Well, there were some challenges that I kind of faced, uh, but it's always fun fixing those challenges and overcoming them. I find I find that once I can, when I have a problem and I'm thinking about it and trying to figure out how to do it. For example, the tags, we were talking in one of your live streams about. I wonder if we could add pictures to these tags. Well, I figured it out.
Yeah.
So,
I'll bring that
um,
up on the screen here. And also, we are talking that day about changing the colors of the tags, so the different tags. And you had, I think you were already doing that, and that had just
yeah.
something I had never even thought about. There we go. Let's make this big here. Yeah. So
I'll make
you
some
tell us about
sketches.
these. Tell us about these icons that you've got in there.
Well, the icons are actually awesome icons. So I actually was one of the backers of the Kickstarter for the Font Awesome project for Font Awesome 5, and I love Font Awesome icons. They are just so clean and easy to use. So these are some from the pro version of them. So if you have the free version, you might not have access to the some of these. Um, but I was able to figure out how to add them to the tags. So each icon goes with a different tag. You get your actors, which are people, the profile tag, and then you got a little radio tower for the show, and then the drama masks
For the
for the
genre.
different genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genre.
Yes.
That's
Genre.
as we say up in Canuck land.
What I say either.
Oh, okay.
What other way do you say it?
Oh, I thought you said genre.
No, genre.
Yeah, okay.
I'm French.
Well, I know someone with the last name Hebert is going to know how to pronounce that. So cool. So that was one of the challenges. I noticed that you were all set up on. Let's see here. Let's go through the page that I was looking at. No, it wasn't the preview. It was the shadow.
You just went.
Yeah, there we go.
Up.
And then
I'm looking at a delay, so
yeah, that's okay. You have to watch on the Zoom, and you'll see right away. But
actually,
yes.
You're not showing it on Zoom. I just see your head.
You just see my head?
Yeah.
Is this on Zoom? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, everybody. I forgot. So there you go. That's a fail on my part. The first one. I am using Zoom to stream this to Twitch, and so I actually changed screens on Twitch for everyone to see that, but of course you can't see that. So people did see that. Oh my goodness!
So people on Twitch saw
what I was showing.
What you're showing on the screen, but I couldn't show it on Zoom, so I'm watching it on a delay.
Okay, on the delay. So I was going to ask you. Okay, let me just bring that back up then. How about registering with iTunes and Google Play? I don't know of Stitcher or TuneIn, but was that complicated? Is that something you've done before, or?
Well, actually, I have. My girlfriend actually has a podcast of her own that I initially set up, and called Self Talk Radio Show, and we've actually showed it on your show too, the website.
Yeah.
And so I have had some experience putting a podcast together. I did the websites differently. Her website is built in Seblud, which is a CCK, and that way I could make it easier for her to update it herself, even though I pretty much update her website for her.
Is that is that a CCK in Joomla?
Yeah. It's actually a CCK that uses the Joomla article. Unlike K2.
Yeah.
Where K2 creates its own items and own stuff in its system.
Okay.
Seblud actually uses the article and actually adds some code to the intro text that allows the CCK to work with it.
And what does CCK stand for again?
Content Creation Kit.
Oh, okay. Content Creation Kit.
Yes.
Cool.
So other ones would be like Fabrique, and there's one by another company called it's not Emerald, but it's something like that. They have a set, but yeah, there's a few of them out there. I'm more familiar with K2.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get away from K2 because it's just and try to do more with Joomla's core, because Joomla's core is getting better.
Yeah.
Where a lot of things I especially with the article fields, those things right there actually in on the website, on iloveoldtimeradio.com. I utilize the article fields quite a bit. So I have kind of a form in the back where I fill in some of the details, and then I use the template. Actually, I use Regular Labs content template.
Okay.
So that way I always remember, I already have it set up so all my pages are consistent. Because I'm a little OCD, so I like consistency.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's OCD, but then there's also consistency, which is important, because the more consistent it is, the easier it is for people to navigate, and it flows better when you're doing stuff. So
yeah, so I like using Joomla's core as much as possible these days because, like I said, it is getting better. And I'm looking forward to 4 and when it comes out, and hopefully it's even better then. Because then I don't need a lot of these third-party plugins.
Yeah, and the nice thing about core is too, there's not the delay in updating things. A new version comes out, but you can't update because you're waiting for all of your other really heavy duty, like CCKs, to update, and then if you ever decide not to use them, it can be very tricky getting your stuff out of them back into the core part and dealing with the URLs of them and stuff like that. So
yeah. So I actually have sites out there right now that are using K2 that I'm eventually going to migrate back to the Joomla core, and I think I'm going to do it by hand. That way, it's more consistent than having some sort of program coming in. And
can't be too many pages then.
No, it's not. It's not terrible. It's probably 20 or 30 pages, so
Okay.
we're not talking about thousands.
So you can do 20 or 30 pages. You can do manually in an hour.
Yeah. Well, not me, but some people. No, I get too distracted too easily.
I couldn't in an hour, even if I could concentrate for an hour.
Yeah, that's also the difficulty that I have is I get very I'm what you would call in this day a little ADHD. So I get very distracted very easily, and so sometimes I have to force myself to focus here. So
now you were telling me about this banner up here. I switched early, so because you're watching on the delay. The every Tuesday banner. Tell us how that works.
So that actually is using the regular labs, and I'm going to probably mention them a bunch of times. So if you're not familiar with regular labs, I would bookmark it. If you're just learning how to build Joomla sites, everybody, or you've been doing it for years, everybody needs to bookmark regular labs. And I'm not being paid by them, though. Peter, if you want to, send something my way, you can send me some, free codes. I'm okay with that. But yeah, regular labs extensions. There are a few of them that I will install on every website. Among the ones that are installed on this website, the ones that you don't see, like Cache Cleaner, that's always in my websites. But I have snippets. I have, I'm sitting there trying to remember them. But
do you have Better Trash?
You know what? I don't use Better Trash.
Okay, that's a cool one.
And I don't use Better Preview either.
Oh, Better Preview is awesome.
I have used Better Preview. It's just something I'm not. My brain thinks I translate code in my head. So when I see code, I see the results a lot of times in my head. So it's a little weird. Most of my sites, I don't use WYSIWYG stuff. I've learned the CSS and I've learned the stuff, so I know. That's how I write stuff. I write things in straight code. I don't use the WYSIWYG editor a lot.
Okay.
I use the code view more than I do anything else. So I'm bringing my extension manager. Here's another nice thing about regular labs is the extension manager. You can see all the extensions. You don't have to go to their website and download them. You can just do it from here.
Yeah.
So I have Advanced Module Manager.
If you want to, do you want to share your screen to show that, or?
Sure. I can share my screen.
Then we can. I'm trying to mouse along here, but then we just follow along while you're doing that. Just go share in whatever window that is.
All right. We'll see if this is the right one.
Yep, that's it.
And I'm waiting for it to catch up on Twitch so I can make sure too. So as we can see, I'm not showing anything that doesn't need to be shown.
No, you're just showing you shared your desktop or just the browser window.
I shared the browser.
Okay, yeah.
Which is the nice thing I like about Zoom is you really can choose what you want to share.
Yeah.
So I use Advanced module manager, and we can talk about that more in a bit when we talk about that image you're talking
Yeah.
about. Obviously, there's cache cleaner. Looks like I need to update content templater,
Yeah.
and then I have re-replacer installed, but I didn't actually need it, so I'll probably uninstall it. And then snippets, which I need to update too. So far, that's what I have installed into this website.
Okay.
And it's always best to try to only install what you need and not install everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
So
It does make a little bit simpler. Although regular labs automatically update if you're managing your site in myjoomla.com. So
if you've set that up yet, and I have not set that up on this one yet.
Yeah.
So actually, let's since I have control here, we can go to the. Here's another feature that I love of Joomla that I use this often: the select by menu item.
Okay.
Where I can see all the modules under basically an address.
Okay.
So I'm looking at all the modules I have on the home menu.
Interesting, because I've not of all the filter features, I don't ever use that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I use it all the time, especially when I want to edit a specific module on a specific page.
Okay. Yeah, because I guess I've always just bombed in searched for something that's in the title of it to just go and find it and open it. But
yeah.
But if you're thinking of a certain page, especially, I guess that's a good tip, because if you've got what you're about to show us, multiple versions of modules that appear at a certain time, then on certain pages, then that presents them all together.
Well, it's very helpful on websites you didn't build and you are fixing or maintaining. It's one thing I hate about WordPress is I spend hours trying to find where this little snippet of code is in the website. Is it in the template section? Is it in the settings? Is it a post? Is it a page? Is it, is it another plugin that I don't know what it is, to be able to edit it to say something different. With Joomla and the, if it's a module, it's really easy to find based on where it is in the menu.
Yeah, cool.
So I have here, since I use Gantry, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
Which I really like the framework of Gantry because it allows me to easily, quickly build templates. And I start with a template off of usually paid templates. Like this is actually a template off Inspire theme.
Okay.
And they're UI kit based template. So they, instead of using Bootstrap, they use the UI kit, which is a different type of it's like Bootstrap, but it's a different framework.
Okay.
So I use a lot of the UI kit code.
UI is user interface?
Yeah, well, that's what it's called. It's called UI kit.
Okay.
And the Inspire themes use version 2, even though version 3 is in beta right now. But that's neither here nor there. It's like Bootstrap, but it's not.
Okay.
So basically, I do the same things I would do in Bootstrap, and I know Joomla 4 is going to be in Bootstrap 4. So I don't know if I use what's based in the in the template. So I'm going to bring up.
So, but that's not. But it's not. That's not a Rocket theme template.
No, it's an Inspire theme template.
Okay, so
but they build templates based on Gantry as well.
Oh, okay.
So
you you install Gantry 5 just the same?
Yeah, you install the template just the same.
Okay.
It's like a Rocket theme template because Other people have made templates which are based on gantry, which is nice, and they've made particles based on gantry. So there are some particles that you don't get on, like my countdown.
Yeah.
The countdown clock that was going on prior to the launch of the site was a gantry particle,
Okay.
but it was done by Joomla.
Now, are those easy to add?
Um, yes and no.
Because
They're not as easy to add as a plugin, but they're just a matter of putting the code or the files in the custom folder.
okay.
If they just have particle like the the files themselves go in custom folder of the template. You're familiar with the custom folder of the templates,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where you normally would have to, if you want to add custom CSS, you have to create a folder called SCSS,
Yeah.
and then create a new file.
That's one of my that's one of my most watched videos on that one. So.
Oh, good. Well, then to go along with that, there also can be the JavaScript folder. There can be the particle folder, also in that custom.
Okay.
And then you would get the files from wherever you downloaded them. So if I got them from Joomla, I would take them to my FTP. I would upload them into the custom particles folder, and then I would import the CSS that goes with it in the custom CSS file.
Okay.
So it's just a dependencies, add dependencies, and then add the custom. Actually, we can kind of take a look at it.
So it's not a one-click install. You have to.
No.
You're uploading to
Your FTP server.
yeah, all the different locations. Okay.
Yeah, and we can kind of briefly take a look at that. What I'm talking about.
Okay. I'll put my put my grandpa glasses on here so I can see this.
So and in case people have never used this section, you can actually edit your template files from Joomla. You don't actually have to go to your CSS to do it.
Yeah, and
your FTP to do it.
John Moholt just said basic particle and gantry consists of two files if they don't rely on extra files, JavaScript and CSS, but you can just copy the file in.
Well, they require two files plus the CSS.
Okay.
So, like right here, you can see I have a countdown SCSS.
Okay.
And then a custom SCSS. The countdown is for that countdown clock.
So it had its own CSS. So.
Yes. Yeah. And that's its own form, and that's what you have to import. And I'm going to open my custom CSS, SCSS, and right here, these two codes need to be added.
Oh, okay.
So you add your dependencies first. You import your dependencies, and then you import the CSS file that goes along with your particle.
Okay, cool.
And that right there. Now I've had that not work recently on a website. I actually had to. It wouldn't import because I think the names of the particle were very close of another particle.
Oh.
So what I just did is I copied all these CSS files from that particle and just popped
bombed
it in
them
here.
in there. Okay.
That's how I got around that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was another way of doing it, but that was easy.
Yeah.
Actually,
so technically, you wouldn't even have to upload the CSS file if you open it and just bomb them all in the custom one.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a better way of doing stuff because of it not loading more files, or is it making it too big? I guess there's a rule. I guess people have different opinions on that, on whether or not that's the right way to do things. Which way is the right way? I'm going to kind of go back to this CSS, SCSS, because I can kind of show you the I know we're bouncing around a lot here. Um, we were talking about
The
earlier.
labels.
We were talking about the tags, and so basically this code right here
Yeah.
is the code that adds the icon
Okay. And then you
to it.
take you go and put the label dash actor in the is it custom in the tag or something? What the
There, well, remember when I show we and this is in a previous live stream that you did, where in each tag there has an option of adding a
right?
CSS. So this is the same CSS name that changes the color.
Okay.
So like actor right here and actor right here. So here's the that changes the color,
Okay.
the background color, the foreground color, the text color.
Yeah.
And then right here, it uses a selector called before. So this is going to put it before that. Now, of course, this doesn't work on older browsers, but if you're working with an older browser, welcome to 2018. We're almost at 2019.
Yeah.
You might want to upgrade.
Yeah. Maybe.
So it works on iPhone, so I don't care.
And
I'm happy.
so that code there is basically saying put icon F007 before everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get the content, you get the font family, and then how much of the margin you want. And all these codes, this F007, are on Font Awesome's website.
Okay.
They actually have all the Unicode codes for every one of their icons on their website. They have done a fabulous job with that website, with the new website, where you can look up any code. And that's the problem with Gantry right now. Gantry 5 does not have support for Font Awesome 5 right now.
Okay.
So anytime I want to use one of the icons, I can't use their selector that they have built in.
So you're doing it manually this way.
So I do it manually. And that's an example of doing it manually.
Hey, that sound was Chuck P following. Thanks for the follow, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. And in 10 minutes, you can say how awful we are. I do not have the chat open. So if people are chatting, you'll have to pay attention.
I think that was on Twitch. It was said follow. Otherwise, it would be subscribed. It was YouTube, but cool.
So,
all right. So back to that's cool to see how you did those tags there.
And at some point, I will do a tutorial on that.
Cool.
So going back to the image, I know this all started with the image on top of the screen. So I'm using a Gantry particle. It's the logo image particle. And basically it is just the image of my friend Irma. Okay. Which is this up here.
Yeah.
That says every Tuesday, my friend Irma.
And that's just an image you've created and upload it, and that's the thing.
Right. And, Monday was the shadow.
Yeah.
What makes this cool is this tab right here.
Hey,
which is
PBQZQULT. Is that you, Phil? I have forgotten. I don't think that it's Regular Labs. That's just someone that's in chat saying that they're still lurking.
Phil?
I think it is Phil, because I recognize that from before, and the fact that it's so obfuscated makes me think that it's Phil as well. Yes, he says yes, it's him. Okay, I was pretty sure.
I remembered it was Phil.
Okay, well that's good.
So, what makes this part cool is using the Regular Labs extension, the Advanced Module Manager. And what I have here is on the section of days of the week, I have include, and this will only show up on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is a great little feature.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to come up with the PHP to do it.
Hey, does that do it based on the that does it based on the location of the viewer, correct?
No, this does it based on the server
Oh,
location.
okay. All right.
Unfortunately, my server is in Denver, which is 2 hours before me or after me. So at
Shout out to
mid,
Denver, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. So at midnight for my time, I have to actually wait till 2
Okay.
for this to switch
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Now I know I can probably, you know, I don't know why it's done this way. It can't be set up to match the I think
The Joomla time zone.
yeah. So if I hit the date right here, it actually says the date and time assignment is used for the server, not the visitor system. I kind of
Okay.
wish it was visitor system personally, but I don't know if there's a reason why it's not visitor system. Because I would prefer it to show up
Sure.
midnight for me and midnight for everybody else, or have it all. I guess I can change the server time in my to I can change the time to Eastern and have everything set on Eastern,
Yeah.
and I can do that. I believe in the PHP INI file. So, but that's the cool feature of that, and that's what I like about this advanced module manager, which everyone should go out and buy right now.
The exactly. Or go to basicjoomla.com, enter the contest. Maybe they could win the pro version for a year.
That's right.
Um, the other things that you just have on the screen there, the neat thing is seasons. And I think that's maybe something that not a lot of people are aware of. I mean, it's so crazy the options that you have in here. So you could, and they've got hemisphere as well, northern, southern. Apparently, Australia has its own hemisphere, but that would
Well,
be a
yeah. I mean,
that.
they're all backwards of everything, aren't they?
Yeah, well, no, you said that, not me. It's just I'm trying to get subscribers, not lose them.
I
But
love Australia. I mean, quite honestly, it's the place that I would most want to visit, and it's the place that most terrifies me.
yes, but you feel at home there because it's they're pretty friendly.
Well, I've
Yes, I
never,
changed my mind about what I was going to say. But
yeah,
um, so the interesting thing is here with the seasons, you could actually now you really start to multiply the number of modules that you have. But if it's a project that you're working on, you want to be really precise or do something, you could have a winter version of each of the days of the week option that you have and show it in certain hemispheres and just so you could have the shadow winter Australia, and you could have the shadow and summer Australia, and just basically going set up so many things so that you've sort of really customizing it for the viewers.
yeah, yeah. It makes it more of a targeted experience for people, and it makes it initially when you set it up, it makes it a little more difficult, more work for you.
Yeah.
But in the long run, once I have uh, all of the images done for the week, I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's going to change on its own.
Peter says you could also do that in one module using conditional content. See, that's the thing about Peter. He is forever. He does this to me a lot. He says, "Oh, you could have done that with just one thing." So maybe I'll have Peter on there and he'll tell us, or maybe Peter will talk later. Oh, Peter just stuck his tongue out at me.
Well,
Um,
yeah, yeah, I could do that in like a custom module. So I wouldn't use the logo initially. So yeah, I mean, I could do that, but I'll just do it this way
cool. No, I
because
guess
this is what
you
I'm
know,
doing.
and I just the other day was playing around with conditional content, and I guess you would have everything all in there, and yeah, I guess I see how you could do that. John says, here's a guide to upgrade the gantry template to support Font Awesome 5.
Is there an actual? Because the last time I checked, they they were using the what you can do for 4, but it wasn't quite working with Pro because I have the Pro version and not the free version. So there's some other things I have to do with the pro version that I can't do just with the free version.
Okay. Well, the link opens up to GitHub, and that's going to be a bit delayed for you there, but everyone else will see it when I'm talking here. And so that would be something to check out. John,
Yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see my name pop up in that thread, I believe.
oh, there you are. Well, Web help us.
Yeah, the WebHelp US.
Well, Web help us.
Well, it's kind of a double meaning.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one there. All right.
Yeah, so I am familiar with this thread, as you can see.
Okay. See you later, Peter. Peter says he was in for 30 seconds, so.
Thank you, Peter.
He's gone. He has to go again, and good luck, guys. Web.
I guess I got to see what he's saying.
Yeah. He's come up with an even better variation of your name. Fortunately, there's not too...
You know, I spent so much time plugging you during this. Use regular labs unless you want to deal with Peter.
Okay. So, yeah, so you've got that... and so there he goes. This is how I thank you.
You can send me free codes. That's how you can thank me.
Yeah, I don't know if he heard that before, but he's definitely heard it now. So cool. All right, so that's this module up here every Tuesday. That, by the way, you've got that's a PNG, right? That's allowing your background.
No, that's a JPEG.
Oh, is it? Okay. I wondered if maybe you were doing something to make it show through, but I guess then it would show through brown on here. So.
Yeah, no, I'm actually using the same background. Now, see, the style I kind of went with this website was kind of an older look, or tried to do. So I use a lot of browns. And
this is like those tin ceiling kind of patterns, or the old wallpaper.
Or the really, really old wallpaper you'd find on your great grandmother's wall.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I kind of use that for... I just repeated the use for that that header. So, and to be honest, the shadow image is actually taken from the movie version of the shadow. So it's not an old version of it, but I thought it looked much cooler than the old version.
Yeah. Now the player, the format here, is that my browser that's displaying it that way?
Yes, that would be, you're using Chrome?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be your browser. It's using the audio tag and not any sort of customized audio player.
All right, I'm going to put it over here in Firefox and see what it looks like. Oh, yeah, so get the square black there as well.
Yeah, Firefox is awful. It's so blasé, you know. They didn't really work on it at all.
All right, well, let's really test things then. Let's put it in Edge.
I think Edge looks pretty good, though.
Think so?
If I remember.
I mean, that black one in Firefox isn't that bad, so.
No, it's just kind of standard.
Edge is smaller.
Is it?
And you get purple volume.
Oh, well, you know,
which is my favorite Prince song.
Purple Volume?
Yeah.
I think that's two songs combined, Purple Rain and Pump Up the Volume.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. It's one of those mashups.
Now this is a neat effect here because it looks like you've got a window through to the back. It's kind of I kind of like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it does kind of look like that in a way.
Yeah, it looks like it's just punched out and there's like a clear window, and
because it almost looks like in that corner, in that right-hand corner, top right-hand corner, that's almost lined up with the background right there.
Well, yeah, and I think it tricks the eye. I mean, this is such an elaborate pattern too that you almost think, oh yeah, that's just showing through from behind. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to deceive you all.
Oh, no, you're not. That's the whole thing about web pages. deceiving all the time with the way the things are done and their appearance or something like that. So
Well, it kind of looks different. It looks different on my screen because I have less of the side. You have on your screen. It looks a lot more. You see a lot more of the edges than I do on my screen.
yeah. Well,
But
okay, yeah, and that's because I've got it's a 22-inch screen here, so
my resolution is I have a 24-inch screen, but I have it at a high resolution because I'm blind.
oh, okay,
So it's just one step away from being Braille.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, I was not aware of that. How many fingers am I holding up?
Well, you're scratching your eye right now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what else have you got happening in the site that you want to tell us about?
Well, we can talk about the article fields.
Okay.
So I think I
Go
will
ahead
take
and share.
over.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go back to here and share.
No, don't. Oh, you're just closing, not saving. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I don't want to.
Why
and
is
if
there
you hear
why
my
is there no
dog-
banner in Ecuador?
What's that?
Why is there no banner in Ecuador? Because we selected Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, right. So let me take you to my search tools because, as you can see, I have one show already pending,
Okay.
and that's tomorrow's show, which I have as soon as I get done here. I actually have to record because I haven't recorded it yet. I've written the script, but I have not recorded my voice yet.
Good. And you had the intro for like about 2 minutes, and you had about a minute at the end. Is that pretty much average what you're gonna do, or?
Yeah, well, the first show was a lot longer than normal. So yeah, it's gonna be a little intro at the end, talking a little about, especially now. I'll be talking about in the first week. We'll be talking about the episode, the show as a whole, and then at the end, I'll just kind of either talk about the episode itself, or right now I've been talking about some little tips or sneak info, cool little info or trivia about the episode or the show itself. Like if you've listened to the Shadow one, you will know that the guy who plays the condemned criminal in it later becomes the actor who plays the Shadow.
Yeah, it was cool to listen to those facts. And Orson Welles, was it Orson Welles?
Yeah, he was the Shadow,
Yeah.
and he was only 22
Wow.
at the time. So we're going to take a look at the Shadow, and if you have not listened to the Shadow, I encourage you, after you've watched all of Tim's basic Joomla's videos, you got to build up that view count.
Yeah.
Go over to. I saw that Mary actually. She hasn't posted, but she must be around here because she followed me on Facebook.
Okay.
And so thank you, Mary, and give it a listen.
Yes.
And the nice thing about it, if you don't find the Shadow to your liking, well, then try Tuesday's show, which is a comedy. If you don't like that one, maybe Detectives will be and that will be on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe you like horror and suspense, like the Twilight Zone type thing. We have Lights Out on Thursdays, and then Fridays is our variety show, game show type thing, where right now we'll be doing Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life.
Oh, okay. And if you don't like any of those,
well, then find another podcast.
Okay. All right. So what do you got happening here? You got Fields. Mary says she loves Groucho.
Oh, good. Well, then tune in on Friday because we have Groucho doing his game show, You Bet Your Life, which you can also find later when it was on television. You can find the television versions on YouTube as well, which are fun to watch too.
Okay.
So what we have here is the actual code that looks that
Is that page?
that is the shadow page that you showed. And what we have is these field codes, which are from here, our episode tab. This is using the articles fields in Joomla that's built into Joomla.
Okay,
And I
so
set them up.
yeah, this will be great for me to see because that is mysterious to me.
So, well, we let's start with, and I know Mary's familiar with these
Yeah,
too
no,
because she.
and I've picked it. Mary's talked a bit about it, and I started to have the lights started to come on, but there's a great darkness, so I need more lights to. So I'm
So
guessing. Okay, go ahead.
so I built these fields. We got the plot, we got the episode title, we got episode number, original air date, and cast. So these are kind of the fields that I've kind of determined that these are what I want to use on every episode.
And those now, so those are assigned to a category. Does that mean they're only available in articles assigned to that category?
Um, well, they're assigned to the field group, and yeah, I actually assigned them to that category.
Okay.
So they won't show up in other categories. They will only show up on the episodes category.
Okay, so you have to save an article first and assign it to a category before they show up?
Well, in my categories, um, so I created the episode category,
Yeah.
and then in my fields, we'll go back to the fields, and we'll go into plot. You associate it with as many categories as you want.
Okay.
And I just wanted to be part of, because I also have a blog category, where I don't want these to be part of.
Sure. Okay.
So when you assign it to a category, it will show up. It will only show up in articles in that category, and it will show up as a tab because it's called so you group them up in a field group, and that's where you get the name is the in episode info.
Okay.
So this is my group. All these fields that I have here belong to this group. So you can actually have multiple groups that have fields in them. And then those groups can be on different, they can be on different categories.
Okay, so if you're going to create a new article, and
So
yeah, so you click new on the article there.
I got to go to article.
Okay, click on articles. You click new. When do oh, and okay, it's already
It's already selected as category because I had filtered out all
okay.
the categories except
Right.
episode.
So then
So
then the tags are then those are available right away because you've already in that.
Right, but if I switch it to blog,
They just okay. All right.
that tab is gone.
Yeah, that's what okay. I was wondering if you had to save an article first, but that's all happening real time there. So I got you.
Yeah, it's that whole jQuery thing. So how I bring and there's different ways of doing it. There's actually a program called Easy Articles, which actually allows you to take your fields or your and actually create a template based on those article fields. How I had to do it is I just used the code. So field 5, I believe, is the plot. See how it shows up twice?
Okay.
So the plot is showed up in the intro text, and it showed up down here. It's shown up down here as well. And if we take a look at the code, it's all formatted, and it's like I said, I use the UI kit.
Yeah.
So that's why you see the UK margin top stuff and like that. So this is all the format for. I'm bouncing around. I know.
No, I'm following you.
So as you see here, because I'm on the main page right here, so I don't have the intro text showing here. So I have the title right here, which is field. Oops, wrong one. I have too many tabs open, as you can see. This is how I work
Yeah.
normally, Tim. This is how I work with so many tabs. So here's field 1, which is the title. And that shows up here. So the title of the show right there. And then the plot, I have the cast, which is a text area.
Okay.
And then I have code in here to allow it to be a table where it alternates the different colors. Episode, original air date, and then and that's the end of the fields for right there.
Now, where are you putting the information for those fields?
In this tab.
Okay. But
See?
okay.
So these are all this way.
Okay.
So the reason I did it this way is so I have I bounced the wrong tab. I have, and I'm sure there's other ways of doing it. This is the way I chose to do it. So I use this content template.
Yeah.
And I have an episode. And that just pops
everything in there every time.
Yeah. So the only thing I have to replace on this page is the link to my video file,
to the audio,
my audio file.
Okay.
And basically all I have to do is change this part.
So what I didn't notice before, because when you had clicked before where you put the data, it looked to me just like I didn't notice that all the fields there matched the fields that you had done. So
yeah,
that you've created.
So they're the names of, and this is how they name it: field, and then the number, the ID number of that field.
Okay,
that's how you can pop it in.
And you do that when you create it.
Yeah, or so when I created the template on Content Templater, I did that all in there, and so I just pop it in here.
Okay. So when you create those custom fields, you said, yeah, this one should have an editing area, or this one should just be for a text or something like that.
Right. So let me go back then.
I'm just grabbing pieces along the way, sort of like a crime scene. I'm just looking for all the clues along the way.
So like the plot is type editor.
Yep.
Title is type text. Original air date is type calendar.
Gotcha.
So the fields are set up so you have a number of choices, and I'm going to click on that. So you have a number of different types of types.
Yeah.
As you can see, you got radio, text areas, URLs, user. You can even put user information in here, so you can really customize a page, an article for users too.
Okay. No, this is helping connect things that Mary's talked about before, and also how to enter it, because it's starting to click for me.
Well, I'm glad somebody's learning something.
Yeah.
So, as you could, and if you did notice, in that article, I use snippets as well, which you didn't pick up, did you?
I may have.
So I have 2 snippets in here.
Hello, Ohio. Good to see you, man.
Hello. So one is of where the audio player is, and the other one is a contact.
Okay.
And I'm going to actually look at the audio. So snippets are something also from Regular Labs, if you're unfamiliar with snippets, and they'll allow you to add a snippet of code in your article, or pretty much almost anywhere. And the reason I use snippets and not just use the content template, I added a snippet into the content template, is because the audio section has the links to um, the iTunes, the Google Play, and at some point I might add other things.
Yep.
So here's the format of it. So this is the audio, the audio text that actually just does the audio file. It's a browser, so it uses the audio HTML code that allows you to pop in a audio player, and then this is for iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, RSS. So if I add other things at some point,
Do it right on the whole site.
I can do it here, and it will update on every site,
Cool.
on every page, and that's why you use snippets. Is so if you're going to have consistent text on everything, that you want to be able to update to new content, like a phone number or an address. I always use snippets when I do that kind of text, because phone numbers can change,
Yep.
addresses can change, and you might want to show that in, and you could use re-replacer to do that, or DB replacer. But I just find that if I think about it ahead of time, it'll be easy to do it when I need to do it later at a later date. But that means you have to have some foresight when you're building the site.
Yeah.
That this is something that could change.
So the cool thing then about using fields instead of just, because you have to put the content in anyways, but fields, you're not putting something in or removing the old thing or doing the formatting. You're just basically pasting in the text box, and all the rest is handled for you.
Yeah, well, that's what the content template does for me. Is I actually I've pre-built the template of the fields.
And for people that are watching that don't know about content template, basically you open up a new article, you select the template of the content, and it bombs everything in, even descriptions and tags or whatever if you have some basic ones, and then you just go and do your own thing. Like you then add what's different.
So here I've done this template already up, and the only thing that I have to change is this part right here. Yeah. But and as you can see, there's dynamic tags you can add to it as well, which is a nice feature. But so I built this and how I wanted it to look, and then when I go to a new, was that you or me?
That was me. That's my best client calling.
Oh, and we're interrupting that.
No, that's all right. I'll have to remember.
We're on a Twitch stream, person.
I'll have to remember later on to blur that. What how far are we into this here? 1:09. All right. I'll make a note.
So here we have a new article, and right down here we have the content template button. And so what I do is I will select episode, and it adds all that stuff that I already built into there. So I don't have to copy and paste every time. It's basically doing that for me.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So yeah, so those are some of the things I've done with this website. If anybody has any questions, I can answer questions.
Yeah, let me put the Zoom link in there so people can call in and start our 30-minute window, 40 minutes once we add someone else. The other thing too is then let's talk just about what you've done to get it found or promote it or to start growing it, because as we know, let me just put this right here in the Twitch chat there if you want to call in and talk on voice. If you have anything to ask Vinny about, or even just to say hi, then jump on Zoom through that link. So
And jumping on Zoom will actually force us to end in 40 minutes.
yes, yes. So at least have mercy on the internet. If it's like, oh man, somebody should do something to stop this. If you call in and hang up, we'll have to stop in 40 minutes.
Yes.
So okay, so what have you been doing to promote it? Because I see you had like 200 and something hits to the shadow already on the in the Joomla account. Now that's not necessarily, that's previewing things and that.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure a lot of that is my doing.
okay,
Um, so what I've been doing to promote it, I actually ran a Facebook campaign a little while ago. I actually bought a Facebook ads, but I targeted everywhere but the United States, the UK, the Canada, and Australia.
yeah,
And the reason I did that is because I only had like a couple of likes on my page. So if I targeted the places like the United States and Canada and whatnot, my click through rate would be like 25 cents or maybe even higher.
yeah,
Well, more like $7
yeah,
for every time someone clicked on it. However, building up your friends, and I didn't do it in a sneaky way. The ad was I love old time radio, like if you agree.
okay, yeah,
So it was a simple ad, and that helped increase my likes on Facebook. It's actually a trick that my girlfriend, who's in internet marketing, um, was teaching me, and we were doing. So I got some more likes, which will help me promote it on with Facebook ads. And sometimes you got to buy ads
sure,
to promote your stuff.
yeah.
Because especially the way Facebook is set up, you get more attention if you buy ads than if you don't. Obviously.
Well, I talked to my friend well, I guess about a year ago when I retired from pastoring the local church here, and he says, "Oh, maybe I should retire and build a website." And I said to him, "No, you should build a website and then retire."
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can build the best website going, and if you don't have some sort of plan to get it out there or to promote it or something for it to start to grow, then you're just going to have a good website that's sitting there. It's like a well-painted car in the middle of the desert. So
But as with most things of this nature, it's going to take other people passing it on, sharing it, talking about it. The more people that listen to it, the more chances that iTunes will feature it. It'll be up higher on the rankings. Fortunately, I have a great name.
yes,
I love old time radio. Has great keywords.
yeah.
The
I thought you were
fact that
talking about Vinny.
what's that? No. I meant the name of the site
Yeah.
and the show. Nobody had that on iTunes, because to be on iTunes, you can't have a name of a show that's that somebody else already has, and nobody had I Love Old Time Radio.
Okay.
So it's worked out great. Also, the initials are the same as after I is Lord of the Rings, so that works out great too.
Okay.
That's what I encountered when I was trying to get a Twitter name.
Hey, I just want to mention in the chat here, John Moholt put a link to a good article on custom fields and demos and how others have used them
Oh, cool.
in
Yes.
magazine.joomla.org there. So I will include
Yeah,
that. I'll
and,
include that link in the description below, because the chat doesn't show up on the replays on YouTube. But
I know Mary has used custom fields.
yeah,
in
no,
a
she
different
showed
way,
that great
too.
site that
Yeah.
I think was for the different reserves or tribes that she had that map for. So
But that's why I'm saying that I've started to get away from some of the other CCKs out there because Joomla's core
Yeah.
is getting so much better.
Yeah.
And anytime you can do something with the core software, um, it's it may not be the great. There may be features you're missing, and for a long time we were missing these features. The only feature I really wish Joomla had that they don't is to allow my articles to be in multiple categories.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is not a feature they have, but it's a feature I know they could have because tags can be in multiple categories.
Yep.
Article fields can be in multiple categories. So there is a structure that can be built to have it in multiple. But the reason why they say they built tags is so your articles don't need to be in multiple categories. I don't agree with that necessarily, but it just makes you have to think differently about how you organize your site. So we do what we can with what we have.
Now, yes, and now for actually like for searching in categories you can't, but you could use articles anywhere, and articles anywhere to how would that work? To show only certain things from tags.
Well, I mean, you can select. Well, see,
but that's not core. Mary says multiple categories she wishes. She says tags are not as useful. Let me turn off. I have to turn off my wife must be having some great Facebook chat because every time she chats, her computer down here bing bongs. So let me just.
So while he's going over there, this is an example of a page. This is all the actors that I've added. These are all the tags so far.
Yeah.
Of actors that I've added. So this is a page from tags, and each one of them links to another tag. So here's the Groucho Marx page, which is a tag, which is based off tags.
Yep.
So this is a page you would get for the Groucho Marx tag. And what I've done is I've added this kind of text. But what I like about the tags is eventually I only have one right now. But as this goes on and I'm doing years, Groucho Marx might appear in not only his stuff, but in other things as well. And it will show all of the articles that he belongs to.
Yeah. And
I don't have to update that.
The thing that I really like about tags is, for instance, and I made this point in a Facebook group on for YouTubers, is encouraging to put to put their videos on their own websites. And so when I put a video on an article, that's a URL that can be found in searching in Google. If I make that article featured, it shows up on the front page. Now there's another page that can be found in Google. If I you assign it to a category, now you have a category page that Google will pick up. The same content, now it's a third place. Then as that gets pushed down, it ends up on page 2. That's a new page. Google picks that up. You do it as you add a tag, you get the tag page. And
it's not necessarily new content or the same content.
Yeah, no, it's and by new content, I'm thinking it's a different URL.
Yeah, you'll get dinged for having the same content on numerous URLs. What it is a URL that links to that. So it's a referring link, which is the more referring links you have to something, it does help.
Yeah.
But so the more ways you can find it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it is pointing to that one URL. Otherwise, it is duplicate content. But you're creating so many pages where it picks it up on that, and Google sees that as different content. So a tag page showing all of the Groucho Marx, all the shows that Groucho Marx is in, that's actually Google sees that as a different page. And,
right.
And the tag page can be, you can have Groucho Marx in one place, tag him, and it creates a page for Groucho Marx. It's basically the same content that you're offering in in the article itself at that point, so it's almost duplicate. But the formatting is different and the purpose is different, and so Google doesn't penalize you for that. And that's why, and some on basic on my basic Joomla.com site, when people search, like if you search for YubiKey Joomla, my thumbnail shows up like at one point was like 6 of the top 10 results, all on these different pages that were recollating or whatever collections of content, and doesn't bother Google at all. They like that. So
and I think users like that too because they don't get lost.
yeah,
Like if they really want to find out where, I'm and this is a work in progress. The site's a work in progress. There's still more things I need to work on. I am going to add search capabilities on here, but right now I don't need to have search on here because I don't have a whole lot of content right now, but I have search here.
yeah,
I want to find all the Grouch. What if I wanted to find that one Groucho Marx show, and I remember part of the title, but I'm not really sure. I can just type it in and search it, and it will show up.
yeah.
Obviously, I only have one, so it wasn't really hard to find
Yeah.
it. But and then I click on it, and it links to the actual page.
Yeah. Now, have you given us the Google Webmaster treatment and analytics? Are you using that stuff?
I have analytics on it, so I can check that out.
You do
Yeah.
you do sitemap with Google. It's actually Google Search Console now. No, it's not Webmaster Tools. They changed it to Search Console.
I have not added a sitemap to it yet,
Okay.
and I'm going to be adding a sitemap. It's going to need a sitemap
Yeah.
as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, and with the Search Console, when you register the sitemap, as soon as you put new content on there, it just helps Google to find it. Although I find that Google is pretty good at finding stuff, but
Yeah.
it is one of those things that just makes it available. Now, have you done anything for AMP pages for this?
What's that?
Amplified mobile pages?
No. Well, I mean, it is responsive, and I have,
Yeah.
obviously, because it's using. However, I'm getting so many notifications here. So when I do build a site, because my girlfriend, she uses her phone for everything.
Yeah.
So I really have to pay attention to, and I still have more work to do on that end of things too. But I have to, I tend to have to, because she looks at my websites through mobile, and she'll tell me, oh, this doesn't really look right, or this doesn't work. How do you find this? How do you do this? So
Good.
I have to, I do that a lot. So, but the nice thing about Gantry is I really utilizing Gantry and utilizing the whatever, if you use Bootstrap or use UIKit, utilizing those because they have the CSS classes that will hide content based on the size of your screen.
Yeah.
I know with another site that I worked on recently that I've had to use those classes. So certain things show up they're visible on larger screens, but they're invisible on smaller screens.
Yeah, one of my most common things to do or to need to do that with are the logos or the banner at the top that shows the company name or something, and because it just is just horrible on the phone, so you make a module that's the logo that shows on desktop and tablets, but then for the phone you make another logo and assign it to mobile only, and that's what shows up on the mobile pages, and it works really nicely. And so yeah.
Well, I know with the themes that I've used in the past with Inspire theme, is that the logo actually, this logo right here,
Yeah.
will actually shrink down, and it looks rather nice.
Yeah.
But sometimes I want to hide this banner might not look great on the mobile
Yep.
version.
Yep.
I really haven't checked
Well,
much.
probably my guess would be something that wide and skinny will be very narrow,
Yeah,
but you could get away
like
with the every Tuesday as it being the mobile one, or
right. And I very well could create a new banner for just the mobile version,
yeah.
and that's sometimes as web people we it's almost an afterthought sometimes. I don't know for everybody, and this is kind of a question for everybody. I mean, at what point do you really start thinking about the web version?
Well, the I would think that the dream is that the thing takes off, and then you can start hiring people to actually go through and make the extra set for mobile, so that it's every Tuesday, and so that when your girlfriend says this doesn't exactly work, you think, oh man, I have to do 7 of those to fix that just for that. But it's like, oh wait a second, this thing's really taking off, so I can dedicate my time to this, as opposed to we all I think we all have that struggle with do I do that little bit, but I've got other things I've got to get to, and I've got a client that's paying me money, so
So I'm showing and I'm gonna
yeah, you stop sharing
I'm
that screen.
so that's kind of what it looks like on the mobile version,
Okay,
which is not
if you
really
stop
that bad.
if you stop sharing your screen,
Oh yeah,
that will go bigger.
I'll stop sharing. You went bigger, that's for sure on my Zoom.
Well,
All
and
right.
then this is when I try to. Oh, if I'm quiet, I think now you will take over the screen.
Oh yeah, you kind of took over the screen. So I'm showing, and if I catch up with Twitch or Twitch catches up with me, um, there we go. So it's not perfect because
Yeah.
so what I did notice is, it's not too bad. What I did notice is that the hamburger, which is that three little stop and I can't tell from my end. It's right here in the corner
Yeah.
where the menu pops up. Is really kind of hidden behind the logo. And how I fixed that on another site is I actually made that invisible. That's built into the theme, but I didn't like it there because A, I can't see it because it's gray, and B, you know,
Well, and that's an
it.
example of where the menu and the logo were on the same line and there was overlapping. So I actually put the logo in a different module position, forcing it to be down another in just a whole other what are they in gantry, a section.
Well,
And so the
not
menu was
this.
actually above, and it was forced to have something underneath it, only on
Well,
mobile.
in this case, I think they're. I haven't yet found where it's hard coded, so I can override it. But so what I did. So here's another example. It's the same company that makes the theme, and what I ended up doing, you can't see the top because it's the color. Yeah, we can't see the top.
Yeah, we could see it for a second.
All right. So if you kind of if I get really close, um, you can kind of see it. Oh, there we go. When it catches up. So what I ended up doing is I hid the hamburger from the logo. So basically just a little CSS code to make it display none. And then I added a module in Gantry that only appears on the mobile version that actually shows that little hamburger on top.
I have never
Um,
heard that called a hamburger before.
oh, really?
Never.
That's what everybody else seemed to call it because it's got a bun on both sides, and then it's got meat in the middle.
Well,
So,
allegedly it has meat in the middle. I think the vegans would argue with that.
no, that's actually a McDonald's hamburger because it's really, really thin and looks unappetizing.
Hey, I wonder if they must be able to change that as an icon. You probably could put a hamburger.
Well, yeah. I mean, it does. It is a gantry particle.
Okay.
It does give you the option of changing that.
The
Um,
downside would be is everyone's used to looking for the three lines to click on, and if they saw a
exactly.
hamburger, they would think, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah. Why is there a hamburger on the top of the screen? So yeah. That's the reason why it's kept there. So I guess I don't know if Mary's still paying attention or anybody else is still listening at this point.
There are
Um,
four viewers, so there's two others. I think I'm gonna guess. Yeah, who knows
well, if
who's
you're
there?
watching this on YouTube at the time,
Nobody is coming to call on. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you're gonna say, leave a comment, right?
leave a comment in the description on at what point do you really focus on building the site for mobile? Do you wait till it's live and then kind of work on it, which is kind of what I do? Um, you say
Yeah,
13 people. I only see four.
it's a good question. Yeah, four viewers.
I see four with bots.
Ohio says 13 people. He,
But with bots.
oh, okay. I
There's,
I have all I
bots aren't people.
bots are so people.
No, bots are
You
not people
you're
too.
so bot racist.
Yes, I
Um,
am. I'm a botanist.
a botanist. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And my stats on the Twitch page only show four viewers,
Yeah, mine do too.
but oh, one bot is Nightbot. Yeah. See, Nightbot. Then that's the thing that's uh, waiting for Ohio to give codes to ban people or to kick them out.
No, Nightbot actually will. He will every so often will post stuff like you can have him say, subscribe to my YouTube channel and have it here, and it will, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
occasionally put that in there.
Nice.
I watch Twitch too much.
I should probably set more things up like that.
Yeah,
Mary says she worries about mobile last, but it's easy to manage with template creator CK, and she has an account at Browser Stack to check display on other platforms. I have,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know how? I mean, how do you check display on other
I
platforms?
check display on other platforms. I usually just check for mobile in Chrome by minimizing Chrome.
That's how I do it. I shrink it
Yeah.
down.
But you know what? And I think in this, I'm not saying this about you, Vinny, but I think that Mary is more professional in her design business because I think I've had the impression that she takes care of more things like that as part of the project. And I'm not saying this about all of my clients, but and this is probably more a result of my quoting process or uh, my lack of business acumen as opposed to always being interested in helping people. I tend to I tend to attract people that
Don't want to pay you.
no don't have a lot of money or don't want to pay or don't see value in it. So and I'm not saying anything about my clients. I don't think any of them end up watching anyways because I have some great clients that are this way. It's like spend the money and put the effort into it. But if you kind of talk to people, say, "Well, that should be easy. I'd be happy to help you out," and they ask what the cost is, and it's like, "I'll do it for this." Then you end up stuck with, "Oh, there's so many other things that could be done," and
Yeah.
yeah. So to actually put into a quote and say, "Okay, testing on other platforms, 2 hours," to go through and look and try things. A lot of people think 2 hours just to test it. Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine or whatever. And then you don't end up with the income from the quality, the clients that see the quality of putting in that much effort, and so then you can get away with a lot with like I
And
know.
it's nice to hear you say that, Tim, because it's something I've struggled with is people not finding value in what we do.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Uh,
yeah, and I think that's partly communicating. Like I picked up a site recently, and he was referred to me by a friend, and someone had quoted $6,000 for a website, and which I think was reasonable. for the amount of time that I'm doing the website for him now, and for much less than that. But each time I go and I'm doing something, I think, oh, this would be so great if there was this. But no, the guy doesn't have the budget for that. He doesn't even have the vision for it. And so it turned out quickly, I realized, oh, I've done it to myself again. And here I am working on another site that I don't want to put design by at the bottom. Not because what I'm doing is bad, but it could be so much more. And
Yeah.
this guy really needs advice and consulting as well. And so I do have some clients that are like, oh yeah, that's great. Let's do that. That would be good. But and that my best client is because I was on a good day and kept a straight face, and I quoted what the rate was, and they said, sure, no problem. I have done tons of work for them, big projects, great projects. I send them an invoice. 2 days later, it's in the mail, unless they send it on a Friday. They are really happy. They're just like a golden client, and it's like, that's great.
And that's what you want more of, but you can't find them.
Well, yes, but I think part of the reason why I can't find them is the way I present myself as well. And I'm saying that right now just because this is the whole Watch Me Work Live thing. And when we talk about from concept to completion of a website, you even right at the very beginning, now working on our own stuff, that's great, right? Because like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do. I'm going to do it this way and that. But when someone comes with a concept, even how we quote and how we present things can be very can have a real impact on the project for what we end up doing. Now, if they say, "Oh, that's crazy. I'm not going to spend that much." I had a client that I saved him. Oh, I probably saved him about $15,000, keeping him from going on Yellow Pages. He was going to go full board on Yellow Pages for a year, and I showed him actually what they were offering. So he didn't. So that was great. But then afterwards, every time he asked for something, he says, "Oh, you should be able to do that in half an hour."
Yeah, it's when they dictate how long something should take
Well,
for you.
yeah. And if I had gone into his shop, it was a mechanical shop that specialized in a certain thing. If I had said, "Oh, when you put that on my truck, it should only take you half an hour," but I think now I would never say that because I understand his business and how long it takes. But when someone's if someone just sees a certain aspect, sees a web page as, oh yeah, we got to have that and we'll put some stuff up. It shouldn't take that long. Which actually worked really well 15 years ago when nobody else had web pages. You could have a site and just be killing it. But now it's like, no, there's a lot of stuff that you've got to do to make it happen.
Which is something I don't think people realize when they go to companies like Wix or Squarespace is, yeah, you have a beautiful website, but what then?
Yeah.
And
yeah, sorry, just
keep posting links.
Mary posted something, but what's the image banana link there for, Mary? Yeah, Mary says the struggle is real. Yeah, I was just the other thought that I had there, and I was checking out Mary's link, is that the temptation is that when you're doing this for a living, you're looking for you've got bills, you're looking, and when someone comes along as a new client, it's hard to it can be tempting to undersell yourself because you think, oh,
Yep.
I'm going to go for this money right now, even though it's not what I would like or not what I'm looking for. It's money. I better do it. And that can actually,
Yep.
it can mess us up for missing opportunities that might come along because we're so busy with the other little things. But it's a confidence, and that's that whole issue of the business and self-employment thing. And I'm growing into that.
One of the things that I've learned, and it's taken me a while to learn this, is that I don't have to accept everything. And then when I quote a price, that's my price. If they're not willing to pay that, they're not my client.
Yeah.
They're not the type of person I want to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's yeah.
So yes, that means I don't do this website for, under what I would normally charge. And I've had to try to come up with a whole different plan because people can't can't or don't seem to want or can't I don't know to pay the prices that I was dictating before,
Yeah.
because of companies like Wix and Squarespace, where they can pay like 24 bucks a month and have a website.
Yeah.
You really can't compete with that, but at the same time they don't realize that you're getting a website that does more than their what they're buying for that.
Yeah, so now, because I want to say something about that, and I'm going to write down 10K boot camp, and I guess I won't write it with this pen. It's not working. Um,
Lots of
yeah,
pens that
so
don't work.
just in the chat, Hio, I thought it was I thought it was Mary that posted Image Banana. So he posted that. So Image Banana is the picture upload hoster. I got that. So I was just looking at this picture that he shared,
Here's a menu,
and
isn't it?
he's saying this is what he can see when to see who's watching, which is great. So he just
Oh,
asked why not ask him because I didn't realize that you had posted that, Hio. So that is cool. So it shows there's a bunch of people who are moderators and people who are watching, and that's cool. So that's why I just got confused there, Hio. There's also, Hio, I did get your tweet about that video that you did translation on, and I haven't replied to it. So I'll talk to you about that after the stream. All right, 10K boot camp. So I took this webinar. Maybe I've talked about this before, but 10K boot camp. I think they're Web Guru or something like that. They did this webinar, and so I watched it. And their point was this: is that the whole purpose of that was to help is to sell their course, of course, to web designers to make more money and to actually be able to quote on sites that are greater in value. And he said this: you've got the GoDaddies and the big hosters of the world. And he says this is what they are out on the ocean fishing with for hosting clients. And he shows this big, huge fishing trawler and all the lines and the arms. He says there's no way you can compete with them because you're going to get out there. He says that you can't afford that. He says, but the majority of the people that they're getting as clients, their businesses. I think he gave us stats. Their businesses are making $55,000 a year or something like that. And he says so if they're spending 5% or whatever on their website stuff, using that percentage of what a business should use, he says their budget for a website is like $1,500, $2,000 a year or something. And he says, but he says now there are other businesses, that the 20% of businesses out there whose income is more than $1 million or is and upwards. He says, but they're in a lake. They're in an area where GoDaddy's not going after them. He said, but you just, and then he brings up a picture of a fishing boat, a nice fishing boat. He says, but this is what you just put this in one of their in a lake. In this smaller group of people, GoDaddy can't get their stuff. They're not interested in doing that. He says, and then you start looking for clients and you start selling web pages to them because the percentage of their $1 million business that they have to spend on web pages is X number of dollars, and they see value in it, and that amount makes perfect sense to them for the amount of money that they're making. And so that was a real eye opener for me when I watched that webinar, and I thought, okay, because I just look, I sell hosting on my server, so I think, man, if I could just find 1,000 people to host for $5 a month, that would be 5,000. That would be great just to have going. Then I could work on other things, and then it's like, yeah, but then you have to support a bunch of them, and it's heavy
right.
maintenance, and how do you find them, and you can't, and all the big guys are going to offer far better service at that price because so anyways, yeah, so to look for certain clients and to have the courage to say no, I'm just going to say no to this project because that's not the client I'm looking for, is a big challenge. Hio, what's still not unlocked? He's got that in chat there. It is unfortunately still not unlocked.
The username?
Yeah, I don't know. He'll say something there.
Oh, I don't know. He'll say something eventually.
No, no, yeah, I just asked. There'll be a little bit of a delay, and he'll type it. Oh, he might be referring to the video with the subtitles. Okay, it's still not unlocked. Okay, so I can see that link, but oh, okay, I remember. So there's this video for something on Joomla about Joomla, an event, and Hio has submitted the English translation for it, and he's waiting for the video. He's waiting for the subtitles to be approved that he submitted, and then we'll be able to watch it. So that's what we're talking. Because his suggestion, he tweeted me last week, a few days ago, and said that he had done the translation for this video. Maybe we could all watch it together. It might be good for a live stream. And so that's what I was going to talk about. Because I wasn't sure how it would work to watch a live stream that had subtitles and was in another language. But I might want to feature it another way. So it's all coming back to me now. John says he completely stopped building business card homepages for people. Too many that underbid on those. He's only interested in sites where he has to build some intelligence into. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I did just offer to do a business card site for a friend or someone that I knew a couple of years ago. He's looking for just something for his uncle. So I actually, I think what I bid for hosting, he already got the domain. I think I said for $250 I'd do the business card page, and that I would do it in Joomla because I can easily update. It would be so basic. I could just easily update it in myjoomla.com, and the information would just be there. And I thought it might lead to something later on. But yeah, I agree with you there, John, as far as that. Mary says, good plan. I'm focusing on sites that have members and multiple users.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I look back at some of the projects that I did. I remember there was, who were they? And next city over from us, they're about half an hour away. But I mean, here on the island, it's sort of like all the same down at the southern tip. And they wanted to, everything they wanted seemed pretty straightforward. And they wanted to work with Moneris as a credit card processor. And it reached the point trying to get this thing to work. I think I was Virtumart, and it was some kind of membership thing. But to get it to work with Moneris, I realized that I was probably making about $2 an hour on this project. It would taken so long, and at that point, I just decided that okay, if people want me to build a site that and their intention is to make money or take money on the site, then they're going to pay a good price for that because otherwise, I'm donating to help them make money. Which I mean, if they're a charity, that's great. But I thought, no, this is really complex, and it requires a certain level of skill and knowledge. And so if people have, the other thing too is if you don't charge enough and people change their mind, they just walk away anyways and try something else, right? So it's like, and then
Right.
so you've got say $500 that you said you do a basic page for them, and then it ran over, and you really probably should have charged 1,500 or even more just for something so small. And then they say, oh no, I'm trying something else, I'm going to sell umbrellas because the rubber boots weren't going that well anyways. And it's like, oh my goodness, I just lost all that time for nothing.
Yep, I've experienced that as well with companies that I'll spend all this time working on the website. It's live, it's ready to go, and their business they decide they don't want to do their business anymore. And it's like, well, and then I don't even have a portfolio for that word.
Yeah.
Site to show people.
Yeah.
Because it's at that point it's dead.
Yeah.
If I took video of it, maybe I could do that, but it's showing video of a site you built is not as good as showing you people a link to a site you built.
Yeah. I have, and I got caught up on this last one. I think it's important to, and I thought that this would be probably a good live stream talk to have with people, just to open up and chat, and that is the contracts, or what we do, how you approach and set things up with new clients, because I think I think I pretty much decided after that happened again that I'm just going to say to people, this quote is not final until you give me all the content and everything and say, okay, there's nothing else coming, and then you can then we'll advance, and you can pay on that. Because what happens is like, oh yeah, I'll get that content to you, and then you start working, and then there's more, or suddenly they send it to you in a JPEG, and you have to type it out, or something goofy like that. And then I thought that otherwise, if they say, well, they want to get started and they still want to send things, it's like, okay, well, here's what I estimate it will be. Pay the whole quote right now, and I'll start working on it. And when this is all done, if you have more stuff, it's going to be extra. Just because, well, I mean, part of it is people don't understand the amount of effort or work. I think even they imagine, they want a website, they underestimate what it's going to take for them to come up with the content for it. That's that same client that was like, well, you could do it in half an hour. He said, oh, it would be good to have some information on the page on, why you need to maintain the bearings on a trailer. And it's like, yeah, I guess I could find that. But it's like, now, just you write it up and send it to me. Otherwise, now I have
I don't write clients material because I don't know their business.
Well, exactly. And it's sort of like, well, if you want me to go to school for 4 years and get the degree that you have, then I'll start to write the content for you. Otherwise,
and one of the, you were mentioning that people don't understand the time that goes involved. Yes, now that I have the site built for I Love Old Time Radio, and it's easy to put up a new show.
Yeah.
But I had to build that to make it easy to put up a show.
Yeah.
So I had to take the time to create the template and put it together. And okay, well, this didn't look right. How am I going to make this look right? But it's not responsive enough. I need it to be responsive and show up. I had to do all that time and hand code a lot of this in my templates alone, on the article page and on the profile pages for the actors. I had to create the template itself. Now the template's built, it's easy.
Yeah.
But someone has to do that.
Yeah, and then it gets to the point too where, and I've had this talk with some of the people at the Chamber of Commerce just when I'm at Mixers, and that is the hourly based billing versus value based billing. Because we maybe do something for the first time on a site, it takes us 4 hours, say.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time it's like, oh, I know how to avoid that problem. Then it's 2 hours. And then next thing you're down to, I could do that really fast in 45 minutes. I've got it all set up. I can do things fast. Do you charge for 45 minutes labor for it? Because or do you say, this has an intrinsic value of not only time, but experience and knowledge, and this is worth $500. And so I will install and set that up for $500, because if the person, for instance, a lot of the Google stuff, anyone can set up their own Google Analytics or go into Search Console. I mean, Google's made it really easy, but it's a learning curve, and people will spend hours figuring it out and going through all that mental torture. So, if I can add a site to Google Analytics, if they give me their login information for their Gmail account, I can do it in like 10 minutes. But it's like, so am I going to then say, okay, now the charge for that is $12.50 or whatever 10 minutes works out to? Because then the next, it takes me longer to invoice than it takes to actually do. So you look and say, hey, you can pay me to do this. I'll set that all up for you, and I'll set up your Google stuff, and I'll charge you for an hour, and you might get it all done in 15 minutes. But you've saved them 4 or 5 hours. Now, some people will think, oh, no, it's, and again, it gets down to what kind of clients are you going to.
Well, a lot of times what I do is if I know something's going to, I have a minimum of an hour charge. So whatever I do, there's at least a
Okay.
minimum of an hour charge. So if it takes me 5-10 minutes to do because I know how to do it,
Yeah.
still going to charge them for that hour.
Yeah.
Unless they purchase one of my prepaid packages,
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of give them more value because they're consistent. If they're signing up for a package, they're there every month. It's like I'm on retainer. If something takes me 5 minutes, I'll check off 5 minutes.
Yeah. Totally.
But if it's a one-time shot, your minimum is an hour of my time.
Yeah.
Because I don't charge them for all the meetings I have with them a lot of times, unless they miss meetings, which I've had clients that do that too.
Yeah, I've told people that if they want to get into something regular, then I will just bill them by the minute, right? So if they want me to maintain their site, then and that's a regular ongoing thing, then I'll bill them by the minute. So if I take 10 minutes to do something, that's 10 minutes, and then at the end of the month, I'll send them a bill for 47 minutes because there's that I've done that, but that's regular income because they come with big things and typically it's not 47 minutes because it's like I tell them you send me the content, I'll make a page for you. I'm not going to charge you a dollar to change an hour or half an hour to change a picture on one day, and then the next day you send another picture and I say, whoo, there's another half hour. If you want me to do this regularly, then I'll do it that way, and that's good because I also have told people, look, save up some work. If you have little things, save it up and just include it all so it's all in the same half hour if you want, so that they understand, because then that's offering a service and they'll be happy. But for people that don't want to go for I only want to pay for a couple of minutes if it's done, they just don't understand all the to sit down and log in and do it and test it and save it, and then who knows what else you run into, and then you have to go and invoice.
Well, don't forget, back up first, then exactly. Then test it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I broke something. Rebuild the website.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, so
it's interesting.
There's that too.
Automotive mechanics, the shops. If I take my Impala in to have the stabilizer pins replaced, they look up in a book how long it'll take. Right, and it's like, oh yeah, the manual says that's an hour and a half job because they know what it should be done. So that's what they charge. Now, if they if it goes really well, then that's great for them. They pick up a little bit. If it turns out something is really goofy and they found a dead squirrel under there and they had to clean it out and it's a little bit extra, they probably eat that. But not the squirrel literally eating it, but they'll probably.
Depends on what part of the country they're in.
And of course, if while they're under there, they realize, well, the problem is not the pin is broken, but it's also the pin's broken, but the hole needs to be welded. Then they call you and say, this is damaged more. This is what the price is going to be. But
yeah, and that's what I've had to learn over the years, because there's not a manual. There really isn't a great. I mean, they don't teach us in school about how to become an entrepreneur, how to start your own business.
I think they do. I think they do at business schools.
But not. Yeah. But this is something that you should kind of learn, I think in high school.
Yeah. Is
how to do this stuff. Which they don't teach, and it's one thing I'm trying to teach my daughter. How to do certain things that they don't teach her in school.
Yeah.
The one thing I've had to learn, and it saved me, is I have contracts with every client, and I do that not only in my web company, but I do that in my DJing company. Yeah. I have contracts with every client, and the reason that I'm glad I do. I had a client, past tense, because I no longer will work for this person, who I was contracted to do some work, and this was more computer maintenance work. So I was actually setting up their new business with they're setting up their new computers and setting up their their Wi-Fi and their internet and stuff like that, and wiring some stuff through. And they were upset because she called me last minute and said, "I need you to come in. I have this guy coming in. I need you to come in and help him with setting up this stuff." And I'm like, I'm not available. I'm available tomorrow morning at 9, but I'm not available right now. Well, you're on contract. You're supposed to be here. I go, no, you make an appointment with me like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, we set up a time. So she went to, because I use PayPal, because I don't like dealing with bank accounts and I feel safer with PayPal.
Yeah.
So she went to PayPal and told them that I didn't provide the service, which immediately, when that happens, PayPal puts your account on hold. But I had the contract.
Yeah.
I had kept a log of all the work I did for her.
Mm-hmm.
She said I didn't do any of the work for her. I had a log. I had the contract. She was in breach of contract at that point. So I won my case with PayPal.
Yeah.
And it's a lesson I'm glad I learned early. And some people will be like, well, why do I need to contract? Can't you just trust me? No, it's not that I don't trust you. It's a protection for me and you, because it spells out exactly what I'm going to do and how much I'm billing you for. And if there is more work that needs to be done to get this completed, this is the steps that I take, to contact you and have you approve it.
Yeah.
Mary, so it's definitely a protection for everybody.
Mary says her business changed 100% when she started using contracts. It makes you professional. And she says PayPal saved her as well. Her contract was really spelled out and the client also lost in her case. Great.
Yeah. Well, and I was glad because there was 2 payments of a couple $1,000, and to see your PayPal account negative $4,000 while you're pending. It's a little scary because at that point, that was how I was billing my clients. So until that got resolved, I couldn't accept money that would just go off that negative. Fortunately, I won the case, and PayPal was really quick about it. I mean, they did not dilly-dally around it. So it's why I add a layer of protection, I guess, for me. And it adds an extra layer for my clients, too, using PayPal, because I don't find that banks always have anybody's best interests but their own.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, contracts definitely make you look more professional, and they have saved my butt on a number of occasions. And I always encourage anybody who is starting a business to learn how to write a contract.
Cool. Listen, I'm going to cover your face halfway there, so this is in the later on. But I would like to see the contract that you guys have. So if you want to send it...
Cover my face the entire way.
No. Just that side. No. Anyways, tim@cybersalt.com. Vinny and Mary and John, if you use contracts, and Hio and anyone else watching this, send me that. Because I'd be interested in seeing that. I think it's a really good, it would be a really good discussion for us all to have and to be able to share for a future Watch Me Work live stream. Almost would, I suppose, that would almost be like a call-in or a chat-in show. But yeah, I'd love to see it because I need to put something together. Yeah, here comes Vinny with all of his special cards that he's been making. Show him the thumbs up. Oh my god, there's the angry emoticon there. Anyways,
I got all my blank ones. Where are my other? Oh, they're there.
While he is showing those off, yeah, I would really like, and then he's got a thumbs down one there as well. Exactly. I would, I'd love to see samples of what you guys are using for contracts because I do not have that nailed down yet, and I think other people would be interested in having
I'll tell you
a look at that.
What I did. For me, I learned. I started with a template that somebody else wrote.
Yep.
And I tweaked it. For some reason, I'm able to write stuff in a legalese sort of way that covers my butt.
Uh-huh.
So which helps because I tend to think, okay, what if somebody did this, or what if somebody? I try to find the loopholes. It probably went back to the fact that when I was growing up, whenever my mom had rules, I would find loopholes. So I've often been told I should have been a lawyer.
I think every kid is like that.
Well, I don't know. You can't write contracts, can you?
I can, but it's I'm going to copy and paste from whatever you guys send me so I can get up to speed on
Oh,
this.
I see how it is. Well, see, the thing is my contracts are not standard form. It's based on like I'm writing actually before I started this, and when we're done, I have to go back to this. There's an event that I'm doing in November for my DJing company, and I'm writing a
Yeah,
contract for that, and it basically spells out what their responsibilities are, what my responsibilities are. In my web contracts, I spell out the fact that they need to provide me pictures, but they have to they give me the right to use the pictures, and they also acknowledge that or they I forgot what the exact wording is, but basically they're telling me that these pictures are free to use for the website, and if they're not, I am not liable
yeah,
if they are copyright pictures
yeah,
that somebody else uses.
yeah.
So that way they take the responsibility and it's not on me.
Yeah. I think another thing and I guess that's part of the contract, informing people about things they haven't thought about. Even to just say, the client's going to provide the content in a digital format. When they hand you some papers and you end up having to type, or even to just specify, you have to, typing will be extra. Typing will be billed at X dollars an hour, and if you want to hand me stuff that's scribbled out in pencil and not in paragraphs and hard to read, that's going to be extra.
Kind of going along with the chat, you might want to read the chat and then we can talk about what
Yeah, I see
he wrote.
John's there. Here in Denmark, the government has a department supporting small businesses. They supply free contracts for businesses to use in many different cases. That helps to protect small businesses with valid legal documents. Cool.
Now, I don't know if Mary knows this because Mary's also in the United States. I'm in the United States. We're in different parts of the country. But as far as I know, I don't know of any service like that. And there probably is some like maybe local stuff that are like that. But it just seems like, you know, um, we don't seem to have something like that. But I'm not really sure. I guess I should look it up to
Well,
see if there's something like
it
that.
doesn't surprise me that Denmark has that, because European countries, I mean, they're all different, but there's a lot of really great social support and ideas in European countries.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, and I recognize
Except the
that,
GDPR. We don't like that.
and in that way, Canada is more European than American in that aspect of some things. But the other
We have
thing,
this thing called the Republicans, and they don't like small businesses.
um, excuse me, the I talked about being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I joined the Chamber of Commerce health plan. It comes with a little bit of life insurance, but it comes with chiropractic, dental, and at a certain percentage. But one of the things that they offer is, I believe it's 8 or 9 hours, maybe it's 6, but of free professional services every year. So if I put together a contract from all of whatever people send me and what I think we should do, then I can actually call the chamber and say, I would like a lawyer here in Victoria to just overlook and to look this over and see if I should do anything else. And it's covered in my membership, in my health plan membership that
Oh,
I play.
really?
Yeah, so that's kind of a handy thing. Mary says there's a small business resource there. She used it years ago, and then
But it's a local thing,
And then she
right?
said,
It's
said
not.
this Republican, ha ha. See, that's why I'm not getting into it.
I knew I would have some sort. And this is we're not getting into politics.
Scores, yeah, she says score is what it's called. It's called score.
Is it a local thing or is it a
Well, yeah, no,
national
she
thing?
says it's a small business resource there. So I'm guessing it sounds like it's local. And score probably sound
Yeah.
score is an acronym, I bet, for we
The
could
number of points, goals, runs achieved in a game.
what would it be?
Oh, so score business. It's a gov thing, so it looks like it's more small business administration. If I'm looking at the right thing,
Oh, you just Googled it?
well, no, I binged it. I
Oh,
bing things.
yeah, there she goes. Score.org.
Okay, then I'm not looking at the same thing. I'm looking at sba.gov.
The SBA they take care of animals.
No, they're Small Business Association.
There you go, right there. Build your business. Score can help. Many people have been disappointed when they went to this site because they saw it was a site to help them score. Um, all right, so attend our virtual conference.
Pastor Tim.
Join us on November 8th for the Small Business Success Virtual Conference. Cool. And Mary, so is this free-ish? The workshops probably are not free, right? There's webinars, recorded webinars, course on demand. Looks like a good resource though. Let's look at what they are.
Oh, well, this SBA thing links to Score's website.
And Mary says it was years ago when she went. It was free business help. Simple steps for starting your business. Cool.
I can find a mentor.
Excellent. Well, do we have anything else left to cover? Anybody hear my stomach grumbling over the microphone?
No, but I heard my dog barking.
Oh, is that time?
I don't know. She might need to go to the bathroom. And I prefer her not to do it here.
Oh, eventually. Cool. Well, that was great, Vinny.
Yeah, we went on all kinds of directions.
No, it was all good. I mean, we got off at the end at there with contracts and stuff, but that's and clients.
I don't think we got off on because I mean you were talking the
Yeah.
premise of it was talking about concept to completion, and while this site was for me from something I'm doing, from concept to completion, this kind of stuff is part of what we do,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, technically Mary is a competitor of mine, even though she's in Oregon and I'm in Vermont. But
I think she's in Washington.
oh, I thought it was in Portland.
That's
Oregon,
like me
but
when I said that you were in
Maine?
Maine.
Well, wherever Mary is in, I mean, technically she is a competitor.
Yeah. Well,
because,
we're all competitors.
But well, you're Canadian.
She's close to Oregon.
See, so it's not like because I'm nowhere near Maine. So I'm.
It's
so there.
better Vinny, not bitter Vinny.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's nice to have because we're all small businesses. It's nice to have that because Mary has overcome something that maybe I haven't overcome yet or you haven't overcome yet,
Yeah.
and we can all talk about some of this stuff. So, or a new entrepreneurs coming up, and this doesn't just apply to web work. This applies to a lot of things. Contracts for any business. Like I said, I'm writing a contract for my DJing business.
Yeah.
These are things that we all need to to discuss. So
Well, and I think as far as us being competitors, there's very, very little that we are actually all in the running for that's the same. I mean, we all have our
right,
own
right.
areas. You see in the chat, some maybe in the Joomla Facebook group, someone will say, "Oh, who should I host my Joomla site with? I want to change," and people pop in there and say me and me. I always figure, no, that's not the odds of picking up someone by just saying that. I think the better angle is to help people, and then maybe later on they look for something, they may come and they might go with you for business. But no, and that's the whole thing about the Joomla community being so wide and everything that we do so differently that there really are no secrets. Well, there may be secrets and no one has told me. Maybe there is, but there's
Yeah, we have a club that we don't tell you about.
yeah, there's a well, I know when I go and end up in the breakout room by myself, which I have to put
Exactly.
last week's the replay of last week's is not uploaded yet. Last week's Watch Me Work live stream.
But that was so much fun.
Yes, I know that was fun.
John, me, and Peter were all in the same room together. Just
Three
you know,
times
you,
I ended up off by myself and no with nobody to talk to. Well, of course I was live, so I was with everyone.
yeah,
Anyways, no, as far as yeah, so there's really no secrets to success that people aren't sharing in Joomla. In fact, it becomes almost like a bragging thing when someone says, "Hey, look, I've got this template. It's faster than anything I've ever seen. You can do it this way." It's I just think because no one's like, "Oh, if I give this secret out, I will no longer be programming all the Joomla sites in the world." So
yeah, it's true. I mean, I think part of anything when in a business is if you discover something, sometimes you just want to keep it to yourself so other people don't know how to solve that problem.
yeah,
But with the web and with things, it's nice that people do share because there's a lot of times where I run into something that I couldn't find a solution to or an answer to. And so I needed to go on the web and find that, and other people have been nice enough to provide that information.
yeah.
So, which is
So
a nice thing about the basic Joomla stuff, because like yesterday, Monday, so far ago. But if you're watching this on the repeat, which if you're watching this far, bless you, man, bless you.
stealing my lines.
Um, but the tip you showed yesterday is something that I don't think many people do know.
Yeah. And you texted me last week and said, "Hey, here's a great idea." And I thought, "Yeah, that is a great idea." So,
Well, it's something that I just happened to come across, and I'm like, this would be something that Tim would show.
yeah.
So
No, that was great. Hio asks, "Is it intentional that I'm not listed in any category on Twitch?" Hio, there's a small percentage of anything on Twitch that I'm intentional about right now. But
so yeah, so to answer your question, Hayo, yes, it's because you're from Denmark.
Hio's in Germany.
Oh, it's
John's in,
because you're from
John's
Germany.
in Denmark. Well,
I don't know.
now explain how that's different from Maine.
So Germany and Denmark are both near each other in relation to where I am. So that's why.
Hio, I was in under something, and let me just, I will lose the chat if I change to this, but I think originally, Hio, when you were helping me set this up, and obviously I still need more help, I was in under talk shows, but I need to, oh, here's
The real answer to this question is Tim doesn't know what he's doing.
no, it's this category creative. How about that? I think. And then if I let's see, what is happening here?
This is called
Oh,
Live. Watch me work.
yeah, talk shows and podcasts. There's what we got there, and update the information. All right, so I should be in under their talk shows and podcasts now. Hi, thanks for pointing that out.
See, this is what you need him for
And he
because
says I have the possibility to set tag. No, Ohio is my Twitch guru.
yeah, he keeps track of all this stuff.
No, yeah, it's great, and he helped me. I mean, he helped me set things up and get all kinds of stuff happening. So that's good. And there's more that I could do. Like, and I keep changing the thumbnail for each live stream event. I change the thumbnail for the main page, just because I have not yet made a main page graphic that can just stay there and say what it is, and because that's just more of that
It's
stuff
on your list.
yeah, and it churns in my head, and I think, oh, I really should come up with something nice, and I think, well, I could just put something that I don't want to be lame. I'd rather be stupid than be lame. So
I have a question for Mary if she's still around. If you don't mind me asking.
no, you go ahead. That's cool. Go ahead and ask, because
Okay, so my question for Mary is, because I have visited her website, and she mentions on her website that communication is done through a project management tool or something, and I was wondering, is it a Joomla project management tool, and if so, which one are you using?
and if it's not, which one is she using?
So if she's still available,
Yeah, we'll see what we'll give her. It's probably about 4 seconds for her to hear before she actually hears you ask.
well, we have to say Mary and goats.
She says it's just the Kunina forum.
Oh, well, that actually is a very good idea. I didn't think about forum software.
And she says working great. Mary, does that? And I've seen this with some developers. Does it have the ability for people to put in private info? I guess it must be private information.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can actually set it up. It uses a you can set it up with the ACL. So if you I create my own groups for my clients,
Yeah.
so they can only be in in a certain group, and then you can have that. So that's
Cool.
a great idea. See, that's another thing I like about having discussions with other people who
Yeah.
design webs, because they have stuff like this. They share information and they have ideas, and
Well, and that's automatically creating the log of the activity that you're doing in communication as well.
yeah, because I know there's Project Fork, which was which is no longer existed now, which was kind of a project manager, and it kept logs and stuff like that, and so I was looking for something else that I could add to because I don't like talking with my clients on the phone. I just don't like doing it.
She says she tried all the fancy stuff and it was too complicated for her clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing you have to worry about, is that it might works great for you, but it doesn't work great for them. So, what can you do that's easy for them to easily pick up on?
Yeah, and I've considered like the help desk route, just to keep more managed on things that I need to be doing or people wondering. And again, that involves getting people to be training to use it, but trying to keep track of things, because I mean the help desk ticket system seems kind of impersonal, but if you explain it to people so that your things don't get lost and you can deal with their stuff right away.
Well, my clients tend to email me all their stuff, and then I get lost with all the emails.
Yeah. Now I asked Peter Van Westen what he does to manage all the emails he gets, and he used because everything goes to info@regularlabs.com, right? And he uses Gmail. He has everything going to Gmail. He just keeps creating tags and filters and stuff like that to keep on track. So there's that aspect, and I have been trying recently, and by recently I mean the last 3 or 4 days. I've just been sitting and making myself go through Gmail's news. One of the options now in Gmail, you can have important and the rest. So I work away to all the important stuff, and then also you can train it so that if something is there, like, oh, here's what's on sale at Staples this week, you change it so it's not important and they learn. And then just kind of working through that. But so that's been working not too bad, have everything in one place and then having different tags and finding things. I like the other thing too, is that I think talked to Phil Taylor about it, and he said he has a one-touch rule with his emails. So if he's reading it, he deals with it right away. He doesn't like, oh, I'll do that. I'll get to that later. And I think I'm trying to be more like that as well, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do that right now, and then it'll be done. So
Yeah, and I probably should enact that rule too. I tend to flag things that I need to remember because I use Outlook,
okay,
and so I can filter stuff through. So all my client stuff when they come in go into their
yeah,
own folders. But I like the message board format
yeah,
because then you can keep track easily where everything is, and yeah, I much rather do it that way. And I hope you don't mind that I'm going to steal that idea from you, Mary, because I think it is a great idea.
we're going to have to take up a collection so Mary can get better internet, just so she can come on and show us some of the, because she's got a lot of great ideas.
It's set because I'm in Vermont, and we're known for.
Are you in Vermont? I thought you were in Maine.
No, I'm in Vermont, and we're known for our poor internet in our rural areas. Fortunately, I'm in close to a main city, but the fact that she cannot get internet and she does web work. Is that some sort of insanity?
No, well, she's also rural as well.
I'm fortunately not. So
Yeah,
but
no.
there are parts of the state where we still have dial-up.
See, Mary could go somewhere and get good internet, but they wouldn't allow goats.
Then, Mary, come to Vermont. Live in Vermont. I mean, you can live in a town and have goats.
Mary is not coming to Vermont because they have winter.
Well, she lives close to Oregon. They have winter too.
That's the secret that we keep from everyone out here on the West Coast. We have winter as well, but no.
What do you mean no?
No, it's not really winter. Like here in Victoria, where I live, average snowfall is 14 centimeters.
Well, simple solution, Mary. Move your daughter to Vermont too. See, I mean, you guys keep putting up barriers. I can solve all of them.
There you go. 5.5 inches of snowfall on average in Victoria, right there.
That's a day in Vermont.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I grew up in Ontario.
That would be like a small day,
And when we do get snow, we think, well, a couple days it'll be melted and that'll be fine. So
we can get 2 feet of snow and still be like, yeah, it's easy to drive through.
yeah. Yeah, Mary did mention some. I think there's something like a new kind of cell phone internet, 5G.
I would petition Google to get their Google Fiber up there. That stuff is fast. I'd love that to come to Vermont, but we'll never see it.
Well, I'm going to take pity on Vinny's dog. Vinny's actually going to have to pick the dog up and take it outside to pee because its legs are crossed. So, oh, there it is there. What's your dog's name?
This is Pepper.
There's Pepper.
Oh, Pepper, you need to come over here. There you are.
Pepper.
And she's shaking because she's nervous because Tim scares her.
Yeah, no, not everyone's into the live streaming. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching us. Thanks especially, Vinny, for all your time and all that. That was really great.
Yeah, and if you're on YouTube watching this, thumbs up, put a like for the dog.
Yeah. Say hi to Pepper in the comments below. Give this video a like and subscribe because that would make Pepper really happy.
She'd be very happy, right, Pepper? You'd be happy, right? Oh, she's going over here.
Ohio is a master of the GIF or GIF files in Twitch.
GIF. Do not say it wrong. It's GIF.
GIF, whatever.
The creator of it calls it a GIF. You must therefore call it a GIF.
Yes, and that's in school. You play basketball in a gym.
No, I played it in a gym.
Yeah.
Not a gim.
Well, thanks for wrecking a nice wrap up here.
I do.
Hio, John, Mary, Phil. I think Phil is probably gone now.
I think he left a long time ago.
Yeah, we know that Peter is gone.
Yep.
But
And
anybody
so,
else who's been watching, hey, and Nightbot, thanks for hanging out, just listening and waiting for
yeah,
something to happen.
Nightbot, you're our favorite bot.
Yeah, Nightbot. Yeah, John says, see you, John. Yeah, Nightbot is just like this Tim Davis guy. He doesn't know how to use any of this stuff. So, anyways, yeah, thanks.
You
So,
should take me off so you can have yourself on the big screen and do your wrap up.
I can't take you off unless you turn your camera off. Then I'll go big.
Oh, well, then I can do that.
Yeah,
That way you can do your outro
my
without me.
outro. Well, this is it. This is the outro. Like Vinny said, if you're still Ginny, like Vinny said, if you're still watching this at this point, bless you, and please subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications of other things. This replay will be up on the YouTube channel in a couple of days. Hopefully, I get last week's up very soon. But until the next time. And I have no ideas for next week's topic, so if you've got something you want to come on and talk about and demonstrate, you can be the me and watch me work live stream. So until next time, enjoy your Joomla sites and God bless.